training your internal folks to embrace, right, these new capabilities?
That's a good question. It's an ongoing process. A lot of it had to do with just Lexmark's participation in sales meetings. I mean, that part, of course, is always essential. It's a top of mind kind of a thing where you can tell them about the product, but they'll just slide right back to what they've always done. So I think just having that repetition kind of on and on and on, as well as starting with, we have a new hire sales training class, so bringing Lexmark into the early days of a rep's career certainly helps. And a couple of these big deals I've told you about, they were deals that were won by fairly new reps. Reps were only maybe within a couple of years of experience, and then the experienced reps will kind of wake up and take notice on that.
So as you go down a solutions path, so many of the organizations that I interface with say, we understand that's direction, we like to embrace that direction, but we don't necessarily have the resources internally, right, to support these new capabilities. Did you have that same challenge, and if so, how did you address that?
To some extent we did. I mean, we had what we call a business analyst team that support our sales reps, kind of reps on a pre-sales basis. So we had a number of them, but with managed print, with the solutions and the complexity, the number of manufacturers, managed network services, and you start wrapping all that together into a cohesive story. And we had to completely redesign that business analyst team and dedicate significantly more resources to it, just because if the reps needed to go out and speak this new language and they couldn't get a Lexmark rep in or a business analyst, they weren't really going to talk a language that they didn't know. So we did a lot in the last year to try to ramp up that support for solutions.
So I'm not asking you to give any trade secrets away, but we're going through the same challenge, right? 8 acquisitions in a relatively short period of time, and there's very specific technologies that our account managers don't need to go a foot deep, but they need to be able to go an inch deep across a very broad spectrum of technology, and then bring in that subject matter expert. Are you finding that the dedicated training of what I'll call 1, 2, or 3 days of that dedicated classroom fire hose training is optimal, or do you prefer the spoon feeding over an extended period of time?
Probably sometimes a combination of both. I think it does take both, and that's exactly where we're at right now in the last year or so is the recognition that we used to have, we do have hardware specialists that when they couldn't get any further with hardware, they take off their hardware cap, put on a solutions cap or a software cap, and then try to ask some more questions. And it's not an effective way to do it, and we're trying to back away from that. Have them still be the quarterback, but even have the hardware specialists be behind them. That they don't necessarily have to see themselves as hardware first, solutions or software second, that it becomes they're able to tell a bigger, broader story on the front side, and then hand it off to the person in the backfield that they need to carry the ball the rest of the way, or a team of people oftentimes is what it is.